I absolutely love talking about protein, basically because it's so uncontroversial. It's one area where scientists, medics, and the health and fitness professionals seem to agree. They agree that of all the macronutrients, it's probably the most powerful and the most impactful on your life. I think the challenge is that we probably, as a population, undereat it and perhaps understand it. And there's two or three key things that I think people don't understand. It is number one, you can't really store protein, okay? You take your fuel primarily from carbohydrates and fats. So if you do a workout, you go to the gym or do any form of exercise, your body will change based on the fueling that you've given it that day in protein. So you can't really go and do a massive workout and expect muscle build or hypertrophy, as we call it, if you expect to use yesterday's protein, because basically it's gone. So if you're going to maximize changes you want to make, whether that's you're a fit, go for it, CrossFitter in your 20s, 30s and 40s, or you're a more senior person like me that wants to maintain and build muscle, you really need to keep up protein on a daily basis. I don't want to throw loads of figures at you and bury you in it, but based on the fact that I'm 11 stone, or if you're American, 150 pounds, I'm a pretty good proxy for a lighter weight woman and a chunkier fella. So if you perhaps add 20% to what I'm going to throw at you, if you're a chunkier fella, or you take away 20%, I think I'm a pretty good proxy. And somebody like me needs to be having at least 100 grams of protein a day. That's very average. It could be sort of like 60 if I'm a sedentary older person, or it could be 150 if I'm an athletic, regular exerciser that wants to build muscle. And to take that on board in 3 meals, you need to really be chunking it in, which is why I'm not a massive fan of cereal, toast, porridges, those sorts of traditional breakfasts. It's not because I believe they're unhealthy, but they're a missed opportunity. And if you've got to take up to 150 grams or more of protein a day, you really have got to make it up in the 2 meals that you've got left because you haven't eaten it at breakfast. And so, as the proxy I am, I'm going to basically be aiming for roughly 40 grams of protein a meal. And this is what it looks like, believe it or not. It's up to 4 cans of baked beans and any other beans. If you're a veggie, I'll go back to the veggie conversation in a second. It's roughly 6 eggs. There's probably 3 pots of hummus, a nice chunky piece of fish, probably about, say, 200 grams, and a couple of really decent slices of beef or an 8-ounce steak. And this is all well and good, but it's good to be aware of it, because if you don't take this on board, say at breakfast with, scrambled egg or salmon or tofu or soya, if you're a plant-based person, then you've got an awful lot of catching up to do. And as I say, you've only got that one window. I mean, yes, protein shakes are great. I've got one just to prove it to you, which I always have in the drawer. And this is probably equivalent to about half a meal. So 1 scoop would be about 25 grams. But don't rely on it. A lot of people take a shake out, glug it before or after a workout. And I think unless you are in the top 0.1% of athletes in the world, it really doesn't matter about the periodization and the timing of your protein. It matters much more that you're taking the total quantity in a day. So I always like to prep, and I know people think that prepping is really sad, but if you just prep and you know what you're having for breakfast, you know it's going to be scrambled egg and salmon, and you prep some, chicken or soya or turkey or whatever you have for lunch, you know that you've settled yourself and you've only got the 1 meal to catch up on. So I hope that helps. Please take it on board, because it will fuel your gym, and if you haven't taken it, you've almost wasted that gym time because you're not cementing in the gains. And if you're an older person, you definitely want to retain and gain your muscle. Hope that helps. Take care. Stay strong. Bye for now.